world, meet the eggplant. Now, with a lot of work, you can turn this into one of my favorite dishes, which is eggplant parmesan, but often I'm not willing to put in that much work. So, today we're going to use a method that will cut the time easily in half, if not more than that. But before you can start with the eggplant, we need to focus on the sauce. So, what we have here is all the ingredients for our sauce, and since we are in a hurry trying to cheat, I've used 1 can of 28-ounce tomatoes as well as 2 real diced tomatoes to keep that fresh flavor in there. I've got a 1/4 cup of onion. Right now, since Vidalias are in season, you'd be silly not to use them. I have 4 cloves of chopped garlic. I have about 6 leaves of basil rolled up and then diced. We've got maybe 5 sprigs of thyme and about 1/8 of a cup of olive oil. So, first, we get our pan. There we go. Set to about medium heat. Add in your olive oil. And get that nice and hot. While that is getting going. No, don't want that one. You want to wait until that is nice and hot, shimmering, and then add in your onions and your garlic. And then you're going to stir those until they brown, which should take about 5 minutes. Just keep them moving pretty regularly so that they don't burn. Alright, and after about 5 minutes, once it has definitely taken on a little bit of color, it is time to bring everything else to the party. So we will start with our 28-ounce can with the juices. And get that mixed in. And again, since I am wanting to keep a bit of that fresh flavor in there as well, we've got 2 diced tomatoes. Now, what we're going to do is just kind of mix that in really well. Get that garlic and onion to permeate throughout the whole thing, so that flavor that we've developed, which if you could smell this, you would definitely be smelling right now. Then we're going to add in our chopped basil leaves and the sprigs of thyme. And I'm leaving them whole because as they simmer, the flavor will leach out of the leaves, but you don't want to, it'll just be easier to remove at the end. I mean, we can just easily grab them and pull them out, and that will give us all of our flavor without the work of peeling it, because again, we're just trying to keep this as simple and quick as possible, so saving time where we can. So we will bring that, all you have to do at that point is bring it up to a simmer and then let it sit there for 35 minutes, which gives us just enough time to get started on our eggplant and go and develop our flavors from there. So let's move on over. Now, if you're a pro like me, you would have already peeled and then used your expert knife skills to get these all to a perfect 1/8 slice. If you're not a pro like me, you could use a mandolin, which will do the slicing for you, keeping everything nice and uniform. Now, these things come with a handguard, and I highly recommend you use them once you get anywhere close, because that blade is sharp and pieces of your thumb are not going to be tasting very good in your eggplant parmesan. So that's where I would bust it out. But that gives me enough to start working here. What you're going to do is take your slices of eggplant and just kind of lay them out here, because right now they're very moisture rich, which is fine, but when we cook it down, all that water would leak in, and that would, just make our mess a whole lot soggier than what we want it to be. So what you're going to do is lay out all the pieces and then sprinkle liberally with salt. You really can't overdo this, because we are going to rinse the salt off, so don't worry about, I know it looks like a lot of salt, but really the whole purpose is the salt will draw out the moisture. Now what you're going to do after you've salted this is let it sit for 15 minutes, and then flip it, salt the other side, and let it sit a remaining 15 minutes. Alright, that sound means our 15 minutes is up. So it's time to flip these and then resalt them, which is what I will do next. Now I've used my 15 minutes to come up with the next part of our course. What we have here is one clove of garlic chopped with a 1/4 teaspoon of crushed red pepper flakes, 3 tablespoons of heavy cream, 2 more diced tomatoes that I seeded before I diced them, and then a 1/4 cup each of Parmesan cheese and breadcrumbs. And since I'm trying to keep it just a little bit healthier, these are whole grain breadcrumbs. Now, since we are making a pasta to go along, you did remember to get a pot of boiling water started, right? Right, and after another 15 minutes, kill our timer. We've got our pasta in the water, ready to go. Our salt has done its job, getting out as much as we can. And I understand that, we're going to add a little more moisture back to this by rinsing it off, but I assure you, you don't want it to be nearly that salty. So just give it a quick rinse. Flip them and rinse the other side as well. And then, once you've got them all, once you've done that to all of them, just to keep that moisture out, move them over to a nest of paper towels. Lay them all out, roll them up to get them nice and dry, and that's what we'll do. Okay, and once you've given them all ample time to dry, next step is just to cut them nice and thin, so as thin as you feel comfortable. Just nice long streaks makes it real easy. And then I, just to make the cook time go a little faster, like to go this way to make them about bite-sized pieces, just something like that. Once you've got all of your pasta done, cut like this, you're going to need to get ready because it's going to go real fast after that. Okay, now once you've got all of your eggplant chopped up, things are going to go real fast now. First off, to finish up the sauce, I've pulled out these sprigs of thyme. You just need to add in about a teaspoon of salt. I like kosher just because it works rather well. And then a few grinds of black pepper. That'll give you about a 1/4 teaspoon, and mix that up. That's all you need to finish up your marinara. Now, here's where it gets fast. We've got our heat going. So our oil is nice and shimmery, about like that. We're going to put in our garlic and red pepper flakes. And to show you just how fast, we're going to use a timer. That only takes about 10 seconds in the heat. Once 10 seconds is up, we're going to go ahead and add in all of the eggplant. And just toss that to coat. Now that's only going to take about another 20 seconds to get that going, and that was about 17 when I put it in. Alright, so then we add in our tomatoes and toss around, giving it another 20 seconds. Last thing we're going to do, add in our milk, or actually heavy cream. Toss that around. That's going to get just a few more seconds, and then when we are right at about a minute, just that fast, we kill the heat. At that point, we're going to add in our cheese. We should have plenty of residual heat in there to kind of melt that up a little bit. And then I would say add about 3/4 of your breadcrumbs, leaving just enough back to coat. Go ahead and toss that all around. And then I also have here 5 or 6 leaves of fresh basil. And we are just going to kind of shred that and get that mixed in as well. And then toss it around. And then right at the 2-minute mark, we are ready to plate this up. So we'll stop that, grab a plate, portion up some of this. We'll also do a little extra of the pasta, or all of it. You know, sometimes it happens. Alright, and top off our pasta with a little bit of our marinara sauce. And like I said, go back and just coat the last little bit of that with some breadcrumbs for some freshness, and I assure you that you have all of the taste, flavors, and textures of an eggplant parmesan in about half the time that it would take to actually prepare it. That's delicious. I'm Joshua Hudson. Thanks for watching.